The Biden administration is expected to announce a $3 billion aid package for Ukraine today. That help comes 6 months to the day since Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine. And today also happens to be the country's Independence Day. But officials there are warning that Russia may launch new attacks to mark the occasion. Debora Patta is in Kyiv with more. Deborah, good morning.
Well, Kiev is celebrating its independence with this display of wrecked Russian tanks that you see behind me. It was 6 months ago that the unthinkable became reality when Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, and we should warn you, the visuals you're about to see are disturbing. It is Ukraine's signature brand, Defiance, not fear, which is how they've chosen to face this uneasy day. Very different from last year's celebrations. The country's wartime president has long swapped his suit for military fatigues. He set the tone when he raised the familiar yellow and blue flag, boldly proclaiming it would once again fly over the whole country, including Crimea. But it is a day fraught with danger amid fears Russia will spoil the party by ramping up attacks. Repugnant Russian provocations are possible, warned President Zelensky. Respect curfew and act on air raid sirens. Economist Andriy Gligach says half a year of fighting has taught Ukraine that standing up to Russia is the only way to deal with a bully.
We shouldn't be afraid of Putin or of war. We should be as brave as possible to be open and to be ready for the new world.
But it's come at a terrible price.
We are trying to find a way how to not only survive, but to win quickly in order to save Ukrainian infrastructure, save Ukrainian economics, and first of all, save our lives.
Kyiv is the defining symbol of that Ukrainian bravery. Putin's hopes of a swift victory came to nothing as he was prevented from seizing the capital. Instead, civilians who fled to the countryside of Bucha and Irpin bore the brunt of a month of terror unleashed by Russian forces. By now, Ukrainians are used to constant air raid sirens, which are once again sounding the alarm in Kyiv. And in Russia, where this is not even referred to as a war, but a special military operation, questions are surfacing. I really don't understand who needs this war, said Russian cemetery assistant Olga Grazneva. The mothers, too, keep asking, who needs this war? So 6 months on, here we are with these destroyed Russian tanks, a reminder that Putin's hopes of a swift victory parade down this very road have been halted by a nation that is fighting to hold on to its freedom. Anne-Marie?
You know, Deborah, I'm heartened by the scene that I see behind you, even though it's clear, we know this conflict is, it seems at least, far from over. But what is the energy like today in Kyiv?
Well, it's true Ukrainian style. Defiance, it's relaxed. It feels like it could be a Sunday. The streets are very quiet. People haven't really come to work today. There's concern that, you know, Russia could launch some kind of renewed intense attack today. So people are being fairly cautious. But here on this main road, people are going about and looking like they're having a good day. It's beautiful weather. It's 31 years of independence. And as you said, half a year of fighting since Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine. But this Independence Day is very different from last year. And I guess these tanks really are a reminder that the Ukrainian military needs its vehicles on the front line. Also maybe a little tongue-in-cheek gesture at Vladimir Putin, who thought he would be holding his victory parade, as we mentioned in our piece, down this very central avenue. We even heard reports at the time of some soldiers packing their parade outfits, and we know that came to nothing. So Kiev really is a symbol of Ukrainian bravery, choosing defiance over fear, and people coming out today. The air raid sirens, we haven't heard those for a while, so they have been periodically sounding here in the capital. So they're back amid those fears of attacks. But, you know, essentially people are warned, stay vigilant, but they're not going to be intimidated.
You know, your package sort of reminds us, despite the scene that we see behind us, the tremendous toll on both sides. Right at the end there, you know, that Russian woman talking about the deaths, and that's one thing that we don't really hear from Russia, but I'm sure there they cannot ignore the body bags of young men and women that are returning home to these Russian cities and towns. But I want to ask you about, you know, a piece of news that's really gotten a lot of attention. You actually spoke to an exiled Russian politician who was speaking about the car bombing that killed Daria Dugina. Very, very interesting, because the Russians say that they have on video an individual crossing back into Ukraine or crossing into Russia or something along those lines. They are blaming the Ukrainians. But the person that you spoke to is blaming Russian resistance, a group that wants to overturn Putin?
Well, let's have a look at that. Propaganda is so high in Russia, and dissent not only discouraged, but as you well know, silenced often brutally, that it's hard to know always exactly what people think. So we have fragments, but certainly the hit on Daria Dugina, the daughter of a very prominent Russian ultranationalist, Alexander Dugin, dubbed Putin's brain, could be a major flashpoint in this war. Now, she was killed instantly when her car exploded. It's believed her father might have been the target. There are three theories. The first, that Russia, as you said, has blamed Ukraine. They strenuously deny this, even though Russia claims to have solved the case in 24 hours, even naming a suspect that they say is Ukrainian agent. Then there's been speculation that Putin could have been behind this in a bid to ramp up support for his war and recruit more soldiers. But this theory you're mentioning, Anne-Marie, I think is very interesting. It's an interesting suggestion that comes from that former Russian parliamentarian, Ilya Ponomarov. He was forced into exile after voting against the annexation of Crimea. He says he's been in contact with this resistance group made up of Russians working inside Russia to overthrow Putin and end the war. And he says they warned him a week before the explosion that something big was going to happen. They sent pictures from the scene, and they've warned that this is just the start. He says they're calling themselves the National Republican Army, could number around 10,000. He hasn't offered any evidence to support this, I should say, but he says Putin would rather blame Ukraine than admit that there's a resistance movement against him. If it is true, then that represents a new reality for Russia. Putin has maintained that, his war is the only thing that will keep Russians safe, but this punches a giant hole in that and brings the violence into Russia. And members of the political elite could be vulnerable, so it raises serious questions for him.
Yeah, that's interesting. Deborah, like you said, there's propaganda on all fronts, so it's hard to figure out what's the truth here. But Deborah, thank you very much.